Was the inventor of the first talking machine of the world in July of 1877. And as you see, it is not a Klatschwheel, nein, but rather it plays cylinders. These are made of wax. And the cylinders rotate at 160 revolutions per minute. And it plays for 4 minutes long. And these cylinders are made by the National Photograph Company in Orange, New Jersey. At one time, I had over 1,000 cylinders. Well, you see on the wall over here, the painting, the dog, Nibbler. His master's voice. And this is the most famous trademark in all the world. Now, this photograph, next month, it is half a century old. For 50 years I've been turning this crank. Now, the loudness is determined by whether it's a big or small horn. And metal horns, they're best for bands and the voices of men. And the wooden horns are better for strings and the voices of the females, the soprano speed, yeah? Now, Edison's photograph. It has in the needle here a tiny sapphire, yeah? Nicht jemand, nur sapphire. And when it raises the record, get invited enough. It raises the record here. It sounds so nice. Ah, there it goes. Now, in World War II, when the airplanes were flying over Rostov, and the bombs were coming down, I played British and American records, yeah? Because I knew that they must be able to hear that I am playing Edison records in the airplane. And I thought, but if they can hear me, they will know I am their friend. From the desk of John Marks, Bureau Chief, Berlin, U.S. News and World Report. September 1990. Dear Doug, it's a fun house over here. You wouldn't believe it. The Berlin Wall falls, the world flips upside down. Turns out that all world leaders are just a bunch of clowns. And the great feared dictator Erich Honecker, well, within a period of a year, he's become a fugitive. He wanders around a Soviet military base now in his pajamas. After 40 years, the Stasi, the secret police, they're releasing the records that they've held on the German citizens for 4 decades. Turns out, husbands stared on their wives, children on their parents, dissidents on each other. Now, in the midst of all this craziness, I have discovered a true character. And she is way up your alley. And believe me, I use the term she loosely. Now, I would love to do a report on her myself. I think my first official article for U.S. News and World Report. But, well, I'm afraid that my editor, he'd probably find her story too extreme. But still, I think she's the most unique, eclectic individual the Cold War ever birthed. Have I piqued your interest? Piqued indeed. It's January 2nd, 1992. I'm over in Berlin visiting John, and I'm sleeping on his floor. And today we visited the Reichstag. Yeah. There are all sorts of protesters there because it's Cristo. Well, an artist who wants to cover the whole thing in pink tulle. Now we're in John's car. We're heading to the east. I can see through the windshield remnants of the infamous wall. On one, slapped in gold paint, are the words, "Art survives." The sign whizzes past. Allstar. Now this is a grim place. Vast apartment buildings rise like cement gulags. Then we turn a corner, and it's like we've gone back in time 200 years or more. Standing in front of us is an old country mansion made completely out of stone. There's about 100 people gathered at the front door. And then suddenly, with a creak, it opens.
Welkom in mijn prototype-museum. Welcome to my prototype museum. Here, people can see my collection anytime they want. It's everything from the grim design. This is the period in Germany, from 1890 to 1900. These are exciting. The gay 90s. We have petroleum lamps and vases, and photographs and records, and we have matchboxes and telephones, and pictures, and bureaus and cadenzas. Oh, and of course, clocks. Anything people want to see or hear, I can show or pay for it. And some people, they come to see me. Ich bin transvestite. But soon they turn to the furniture. And folgen Sie mir, bitte. And these outdoors, these are not original, no. I took these from a house over at Banzalata Street. Back when the Russians were rolling up the houses, I used to take such things. She ushers us into the foyer. Ceilings are high, about 15 feet, I guess, and we're gathered like schoolchildren. For the next 2 hours, she guides us through the house, object by object, room by room. Come closer, that's what we're everyone, yeah? Now, here, wir haben ein alter Anwärter, ja? Das ist der Color. Und das Musik ist made of oak, solid oak. And it is in the style of Neo-Renaissance. And this is not handmade, this is factory made. The so-called mass production. Yeah. And the trim, people did not like it. No, they tore it off, they burned it. They didn't like the scalloped wood, the tiny turrets, the ornamental molding. It was too difficult to dust and too old-fashioned. But maybe I had a feeling for such things, so I kept it. But here, this is ein vertical sideboard. This was designed and built by a Tischlermeister, Otto Vertical, in 1895. Yeah? And here we have a bust of Wilhelm II, the last emperor of Germany. Now, in World War II, they wanted to melt him down. So, my friend Christian and I, well, we rescued it from a bonfire, yeah, because we thought it was made of bronze, but turned out it was just zinc, galvanized, not so expensive. And here, we have the French call a regulator. This is because it is regulating the time, yeah? After German we say, Freischwinger or a Wanduhr, because the pendulum, it is not encased in glass, so it hangs freely, yeah? Now, the Americans, they like these because they didn't have them in the USA.
It's made a nice gift to bring home to the little wife, yeah? And to wind such a clock, you need a key. Now, when I was young, I collected all sorts of keys. I had keys for locks, keys for doors, keys for desks, and keys without locks, passageways. And I still keep these in my apron, yeah? Now, here, they have nowhere to go. Gramophone. Next photograph is on the gramophone. This plays round discs, flat with grooves. Yeah? At one time, I had so many records of these. At Mendelssohn and Offenbach. But you see, in World War II, it was very dangerous to own music by Jewish composers. And I thought, wait, I must save this music. And so, I took old papers, brown grocery paper, and I cut it in the shape of the labels, and I wrote on it with ink false titles, Aryan waltzes and polkas and such. And then I did this for safety. I knew about the records. And then when the war was over, I took the sponge with water and I took the labels back off again until the picture of Nipper and the Hebrew title showed again. Now, when families died, I became this furniture. When the Jews were deported in World War II, I became it. When the communists burned people out of their homes, I became it. And after the war came, when they had to build the people's architecture and took away all the mansions, I became it. I'm like a maidservant in this house. I must clean and clean and clean because the dust, it is constantly growing, and it is like the dust of 1890, and you must put it away. Right? For 13 years, I repaired this old house with these two hands. Every tile on the roof, I know. Every floorboard, it's like an old lover. For next month, in August 1993, this house will have been here 33 years. But now, you may make Einstein, yeah? A small contribution. Doesn't matter to each how he or she feels. The desk, don't write. New York City. Dear Charlotte von Walsdorf, recently in Berlin, I visited your museum. My childhood friend John Marks and I, we were astounded, awestruck about your furniture collection and your astounding array of photographs. But I must confess, I was equally impressed by the mere fact of your survival. I grew up gay in the Bible Belt. I can only imagine what it must have been like under the Third Reich. I mean, first the Nazis and then the communists. It seems to me that you're an impossibility. You shouldn't even exist. And so here's the presumptuous part of my letter. I would love the opportunity to continue to study about your life in order that I may write a play about you. Now, with your support, I can apply for funding, fly back to Berlin, and begin working in earnest. And as far as grant applications go, forgive me, but for Marais, you're a slam dunk. Now, even if you reject my proposal, please know that that morning we spent with you was one of the most memorable of my life. Thank you for your kind attention, and I look forward to hearing from you Sincerely, Doug Wright. Dear Mr. Wright, yes, perhaps you could make a play about me. Would it be possible for you to visit Berlin after Christmas? Sincerely, Charlotte von Master. Testing, 1, 2, 3. Take 1. I am heading to the Representations Museum in Malsdorf for my first official interview with Charlotte von Malsdorf. And with me, John Marks. John, could you ask Charlotte what was her given name? Her birth name, legal name? Was war Ihre Geburtsname? Mijn Geburtsname war Lothar Bergfeld.
It was Lothar.
Yeah, about that. And now could you ask her when exactly that she knew that her name should be Charlotte?
Wann wussten Sie, dass Ihre Name Charlotte sein sollen singen?
I can tell it in English, yes? Many times in Louise, she worked on an estate in eastern Russia, yeah? But ever since she was 15 years old, she did not wear ladies' clothes, so only boots and wrappers, yeah? And she was working there on a large farm raising horses. And in August of 1943, I came to visit her, yeah. And when I did, I looked in her closet, and there were girls' clothes. And so, I tried them on. And then my tante was coming into the room. And she looked at us in the mirror. And she said, weißt du, mit Österreich, dass die Natur ein Scherz erlaubt? Do you know that nature has dared to play a joke on us? You should have been born a girl, and I a man. And then, my tante, she took out a book from the bookcase. And it had this blue binding, and I turned to the title page. The first video. And he said, Die Transvestiten by Magnus Hirschfeld. Und das spürte genauso gewesen. I felt a shiver down my spine. Yeah. Anyway, my Tante Louise, she said, read. In each person, there exists a delicate balance of male and female substances. And just as we can't find two matching leaves on the same tree, it is scientifically impossible to find two human beings whose male and female characteristics match in kind and number. You read. And so we must treat sexual intermediaries, those individuals who define the rated classification of man or woman, as a common, utterly natural phenomenon? Yes. And my tante said, and this book is not just any book. This book, it will be your Bible. Look and see, I'll pass this book. Charlotte just slipped into the kitchen. I brought a camera, but I'm a little too shy to use it. I don't want her to think that I'm gawking, but I do want to record an impression, visual impression. She's about 5'8", 175 pounds, 65 years old. And doesn't look like a drag queen at all. She doesn't wear makeup. I asked her about that. She said, she doesn't need it. She has piercing eyes, really smart eyes. And she has a crooked little smile. And then her hair. She wears it natural. It's white, goose feather white. She wears kind of a page boy cut. And she wears a string of pearls, peasant dress, and heavy shoes, orthopedic shoes, I think. She doesn't have breasts, just sort of enough polish to enhance the impression. But her hands are they're like the hands of a woodworker or a craftsman. Definitely a man's hands. The hardest time for me was near the end of World War II. I was wandering about, and well, I didn't have a uniform, and I didn't carry a weapon. I just had my blonde hair, it was long and flowing, and I wore my mother's house coat, and I had the shoes of a girl, and we were what in Germany was called the Freiwilligen, like the Jews. We were buying a game, yeah? And I was wandering through the streets in Berlin. It was broken. And you know this rubber everywhere from all the houses. I turned the corner. And there was coming the Russian airplanes with the Sprachbombs. And they were so close you could see the pilot with the helmet and the goggles. And there were bombs and they were dropping everywhere. And you see, this is very dangerous because the Sprachbombs, they go into the earth and explode, and you must get away because you cannot escape them otherwise. And on the corner, they were standing an air raid shelter. And so, I went inside. And I was there for about half an hour. And the bombs were falling, the walls were shaking. And suddenly came in 4 SS officers. Infantry police, die Kettenhunde. And they were looking for boys and men, and even old men, without weapons, who were hiding. So they took us up to the police station, and they made me stand against the wall. They were standing just about 4 or 5 meters away. Our deserters will be shot! And they wanted to shoot me. But I didn't want to see ourselves being shot. I figured I'll wait until I feel it. So I looked down. But when I did, I saw the shoes of a commander. He looked at me. Are you a boy or a girl? And I thought, well, what does it matter if I'm a boy or a girl? If they shoot me and I'm dead, dead is dead. I'm a boy. How old are you then? 16. And he turned to the execution squad commander. We are not so far gone that we must shoot school children. And this was my salvation. Dear Charlotte, please find enclosed 2 antique cylinders. Yeah, I found them. They're your favorite John Philip Sousa. I got El Capitan and Semper Fidelis. They're standard blue and emeralds, so they should play on the Edison standard just fine. I, meanwhile, am listening to our interview tapes every chance I get. On the treadmill, in the car. I've also started reading the complete works of Magnus Hirschfeld, and I'm studying German history since the time of Wilhelm II. Still, all I can think about is the story of your life. I mean, you are teaching me a history I didn't know I had. Thank you. Tip 7, January 26th, 1993.
How did he manage to spell it? The nickname for me, Thomas Alva Edison. Oh, see, you have a talking machine too. His was made of tinfoil with a tiny stylus, whereas yours is a Sony microcassette recorder with voice activation and automatic playback. All right, now, Shawan's boyhood, continued from last tape. I was a child. And before that, when I was a little baby, wait, could you stop a second? I'm not sure with batteries. Yes. When I was a child, and before that, a little baby. Yeah, all right. My father was a Nazi. And he was brutal. And he believed in militarism. And the years for my wife, of their marriage, she was a moratorium. Yeah. My mother, she had 6 child lesson. She wanted to divorce, yeah. And my tante, she said to me, if your father beats your mother one more time, she could die. Well, it was fortunate for us that in 1943, the German government decreed that all mothers of Germany should evacuate Berlin because of the air raids. And so my mother, and she took the children to my aunt's house, yeah, and we stayed there. And she was lesbian, and I was too, so we became very good friends. and so one day I was cleaning, and looked out the window and it was snowing. And then I saw through the snow there was coming a man, and I became very scared because I realized this was my father. And came to the house, and he and my aunt, they had a very hot discussion, and she said, your wife really wants a divorce from you. And he took out his revolver, and he said, I don't want to hear one more word from you, or I will shoot. And then my tante, she took a revolver from her desk, and she said, I want you out the door by the time I count 3, otherwise I'll shoot. And then she said, 3! Through one door and it stuck in the next one. And my father, he went back to Berlin. And I asked my aunt about this, and she said, yes, it's a shame. A shame I didn't kill him. Yeah. Then, in 1945, my mother received a letter saying that the government was going to have people staying at our house because of all the bombings of Berliners who lost their houses, yeah? And so I caught the train back to Berlin because I had to go rearrange furniture for the refugees, yeah? And I was coming into our house, and my father was still living there, of course, and it was on the first or second day, no? No, it was the first week of February 1945, yeah? And my father, he says to me, now is the hour I must ask you. Are you for your mother only? You stand with her or with me? And I thought, I'm only 15. Why do you treat my mother so poorly? And he said, I will shoot you down like a dog. And then I will go to Russia, and I will kill your mother, and I will kill your sister, and I will kill your brother. And I knew that he would do this because of what my aunt said. Yeah? And then, at night, he locked me in my room with the key very tightly. And at night, the Allied bombs were falling, and under the bed, I saw a large instrument for cooking, baking, a rolling pin, and I thought I can use this as a weapon if I need to. But my father, he locked me very tightly in the room, but even then, I had keys. So I carefully unlocked the door, and I was going to leave, yeah?
house is very dark. And I thought he was sleeping on the sofa in the dining room, yeah? And he had his gun was on this chair next to him. And then our clock, he was striking it. Oh, we had the Westminster clock. And he was striking it. And in that moment, I saw him reach for his gun. And I began to strike. Heights! Strike! Turn! Fear it! Go! Yes. The next day, the colonel of police came and they asked me what the motive was. And I told them, but they had me go up before the youth office, and he sentenced me to the youth penitentiary in Tegel. 4 years detention. The next day, in jail, and nothing was there. We looked each other in the eye. And we knew that we were finally free of the monster. John, I'm in way over my head here. All right, to kill. Toten, you toten, hockey totet. Christ's language doesn't make any sense. I'm still winding my way through the transvestiten, but there's some sentences I can barely discern which word is a verb. And the vocabulary I'm learning is so specific. Yesterday in German class, I made a complete fool of myself. The teacher, she asked us, make small talk. And I froze. I couldn't think of a single thing. And finally, okay, I put a phrase together, some few words that I learned the night before. And hi, ich bin Doug, and ich trage schwarze Spitzunterwäsche. Hi, I'm Doug, and I'm wearing black lace panties. The class just stared at me. Except this one guy, Morris. He offered to take me shopping. I don't know, maybe I should be reading something else. Love, Doug. Take 9. March 5th, 1993. Guten Abend, Charlotte. Wie geht es dir? Geht es Ihnen? I'll go for it. Guten Abend, Charlotte. Guten Abend. Ich bin Deutsch gelernt, so to your fantastische Leben besser zu verstehen. Excuse me? Yes, now we speak Deutsch. Oh, you're learning German. Yeah, yes. Last time Higgs and you were in Zingerhut? Oh, the youth penitentiary in Tegel. Oh, 9. I was saved by a miracle, yeah? One day, I was sitting on my couch, yeah? And I was brushing my hair with an ivory comb for my tonsils. And suddenly, I heard the guard cry in the hallway, "The Russians! They're flying over our roof!" And it was true. And then suddenly, the bombs were falling, and the walls were shaking, and they dissolved like sandcastles in the tide. And I heard the guard say, "Run!" And I packed my blanket. Oh, I grabbed my alarm clock, and I ran through the iron gates and out past the ruins of the old Jewish synagogue. And then I saw the big Russian tanks. And behind them, the horses with the painted wagons. The Allies were coming to Berlin. Ah, and then there was the coach with the officers decorated, and the Russian soldiers, they were handing out loaves of bread to the people. Well, it was springtime, and the birds were singing in the trees. And it was an awful war. Come on, pick up, okay? Oh, come on.
Sie haben die Wohnung
You gotta fix that,
von
John.
Danmarks erreicht.
Pick up,
Bitte
I hear me.
hinterlassen Sie ein
Come on, come on, pick up.
Nachrichten.
You gonna make me wait for the whole message? All right, John. Oh, jeez. Come on, John. I'm trying to get a hold of you for 2 days now. John.
Huh?
John.
Good?
Yeah, listen. I've got a problem on my financing run out, my funding. So I'm gonna have to cancel my May visit. But also I lost. I figured I could sell my car. Whoa! You ever heard of time zones? It's 4 fucking a.m. Yeah, well, see, the thing is, I got my car. I think I can sell it for about $3,000, and that'll pay for about a month or so. It's like, whoa! I'm gonna sell your car? Here you go, Whoopi. Well, listen, John. The thing is, she doesn't run a museum. She is one. I mean, the rarest thing in her collection isn't a grandfather clock or a Biedermeier tall boy. It's her. So I'm just asking you, if I can still make it in June, can I still sweep on your floor? June 1993. And today, you'll follow me at your own risk, yeah? I show you the Geheimnis, das Geheimnis in my museum, yeah? The secret. Charlotte's descending a series of steps. I guess I'm supposed to follow. It is really steep. She's guiding us down a long hallway. I think we're in the basement now. And it's very dark, but she's lighting a lamp. And, oh shit, it is huge. There's rough-hewn tables with wrought iron stands and cane-back chairs. And there's a great big bar made completely of oak. And it's stocked with glasses and liquors. Welcome to the Goya Christian. An old tavern from there yesterday, yeah? The walls, they've been mottled with age, and there's signs everywhere. Prostitution is forbidden, at least according to the police, yeah? And another placard, dancing is forbidden. Dancing is forbidden. We had an old phonograph in the back room of the Berlin trip, and we danced all the time. And this body, this was originally in the Baden district in Old Berlin, on Müllachstrasse, number 15. And at the time of Wilhelm II, it was a restaurant for gays and lesbians, yeah? You see, the owners, they wanted the homosexuals because they never got drunk, they never thought, they always paid the bills. And this on the table sat Bertolt Brecht, Marlene Dietrich, the sexologist Magnus Hirschfeld, the actress Ellie Gordon, Augustin, yeah? And this table, he is over 100 years old, I could, I would take a photograph needle and run it across the surface of the wood, just to hear the music of all the voices, all that was said, yeah? Now, Nina Mallett, she was the barmaid, yeah? And she came to me in 1963, and she said, "The communists, they want to shut us down. Unsere history is decadent, yeah? And they say that we only have one day, and then they bulldoze us." This is not good. And so, I bought all the furniture. I had a little money, and we took it to my museum, and we hid it here in my cellar. And the next day, they came, and they broke it down, yeah? And then, when the war came, it was the end of gay life in East Germany, yeah? They closed down all our bars. Advertisements in the newspaper, verboten, yeah? We had only the tramways and the public toilets to meet at. We were told we didn't exist. It was on and on ground. So I thought, I could make this a place of community for gays and lesbians, yeah? I mean, it was already a museum for all people, so why not homosexuals? And so, we met here on the Sunday afternoons. Yeah? Or in Mina, sometimes she would run her finger along the bar, and when it came up black with dust, she'd say, "Charlotta, you pig, you haven't cleaned." And I say, "Everyone, oh, listen, this is a historic moment, yeah? This has been about like the last, the Mullah. And everyone would laugh and clap. Oh, and over the bar was an attic, yeah? So that if someone met a man, boy or girl, they met a man, they wanted to go upstairs, they could. And it didn't matter if it was a boy, girl, girl. It didn't matter. There was always room up there, and there was a divan, a sofa, a chaise lounge, a bed, and each of these furniture pieces there are separated by curtains, yeah? And they were always full, all the time. Every piece had 2 seats in them, yeah? And anyone into sadomasochism, whether it was 2 or 4 or 6 even, they could have the room to themselves for a few hours, yeah? They had whips and things stacking on the behind. Oh, and the Stasi, the secret police, the most feared criminal police force in all the world. When they were coming around, they were staring in the windows. And they were going, "What's this?" So what could I do? I painted all the windows black. When the wall falls, Charlotte tells me that she had the only remaining Weimar cabaret in all of East Germany, which she ran under the watchful eye of the Stasi for almost 30 years. On behalf of the cultural industry and the Bundesrepublik Deutschland, it gives me great honor and joy in recognition of your astonishing efforts at preservation, your steadfast conservation of a period in German industrial design known as the Grunderzeit, and for your timely rescue of the Mühlach-Witz. We honor you with the high order of the Bundesrepublik Deutschland and deliver unto you the Medal of Honor, a cross upon a ribbon. Oh, the day that I received that was, it was good. I mean, because I thought, well, if people see this, they will know that a transvestite can work. I mean, other people, heterosexuals, they look in the newspaper or look on television, they will say, "Oh, yeah, he or she can work." Now, you should have been there. They broadcast the thing on national German television. And can you picture this little old man in black skirt, pearl string, and nobody laughed. There wasn't even a cat call. And at the end of it, cultural minister, he even bent over and kissed her hand. Charlotta, what was it like when you went to the West for the first time?
First, I thought the cat.
This was crowded. It was a crowd of gays and lesbians, lefties, conservatives, and atheists. Sunday nights, it's Joker on Beer Ranch. And other events include gay slideshows about South America, karaoke, and drag queen, you know. Oh, I remember this place. This was Buddy's bar, yes? They had this deep and ambient black leather. And they played hot music, and sometimes old notes. And sometimes a young man couldn't be persuaded to put on a little show. This was Prince Randall's gay bookstore. They had everything for homeless. They had everything, Nancy's, pansies, sissies, trannies, sunrise, savages, fruitcakes, homos, faggots, lesbians, dykes, queers, queens, gender benders, and of Dorothy? I don't know what that is. Well, now, Charlotta, I heard that in the 70s, the Stasi, well, they offered to help you if you would give them a list of all the people who frequented your museum. I heard they even offered you a car. Is that true? Yes. These two men, they came to me, and one of them said, "You must take a pen and paper and write down exactly what I dictate to you." What's this? And he did it. Well, he told me I had to write down exactly what he said. Well, what exactly did he want me to write? Well, not bad, Felder. Commit myself willingly and freely to working with the state security, the administration of state security. I will report all information which may have the character of an action inimical to the state. I will be known by the code name Pop. And I am not to give this information to even my closest friends or my relatives. I'm told that if I violate this order, I will be prosecuted to the full extent of the laws under the GDR. And you had to sign it? I signed it. But I told myself, I still do whatever I want. If what was so yeah. And then left. Yeah. Yeah. And my tata, she always said, "You must learn And then she said, "You're living in the lion's den now. You must learn to howl with the wolves." Doug, listen up. Turns out the press, they got a hold of Charlotta's Stasi file. And, well, it turns out that she was an informant, all right, for about 4 years, the mid-70s. They said that she did it freely, and one part he says enthusiastically. Oh, and that museum of hers? Turned out it was a drop-off point for documents and items of interest to the Stasi. She reported on the illegal dealings of other antique dealers. It turns out she was responsible for an arrest, and it wasn't just anyone. It was a fellow collector, friend. Now, the tabloids, they're having a field day with this. So I'm sending you these clippings. Charlotte von Monster, sexual outlaw and Soviet spy. Mata Hari was man, the real story of Berlin's most notorious transvestite. Come on. Camarada Charlotte is the disguise she's wearing more than just a dress. John, I'll get back to Berlin as soon as I can. Even when I was a child, people did not like the photographs. No? They thought they were too old-fashioned. They all wanted radios. And I thought, what do I want with a radio? To listen to Hitler babble? No, thank you. And that's why even today, I don't own a radio or television. Like these phonographs, pianolas, gramophones, these machines, they gave me so much pleasure when I was younger. And everything that I went through with my father, all that my mother and I had to endure. We played the phonograph. And the music would flow through the horn. And everything. It was better. Dear Charlotte, I was dining at lunch, a scrumptious vegetable stew with mashed potatoes, truly exquisite, when your note arrived. Now today's the day I usually set aside for answering letters, so I thought, well, I haven't received anything today, so I may as well just quit writing altogether, die, lost and forgotten by the world. So your note arrived just in time. You said, "Oh, Alfred, don't give up. You never had hordes of friends anyway. But you always gave a bit of joy to everyone, and that's enough." Oh, my sweet Charlotte, for your sake, I won't give up. And I will wait patiently until the day that I am set free. At night, I wrap myself in blankets. I am Still having the headaches and the dizzy spells. But I'm starting to think it's not so much the prison conditions, it's, well, I'm just getting old. I can hardly see anymore, I can barely read. And I just wander from one doctor to the next. They zap me with electricity and record it on a piece of paper, and voila! Electrocardiograph. There's a dentist here. He's a real dictator. He wants to put in one more of my teeth. Pretty soon I'll be nothing but gums by the time you see me. I'll have no teeth at all. And believe me, Alfred Sand's teeth is not a pretty sight. Please give your warmest regards to your family for me. Tell them I'm still the same old Alfred, and I won't be beaten down. But when I'm released, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to play a waltz on the piano, my favorite, Strauss, the problem. I'm going to play the Freudkin on the piano. Yeah. So please, with a karaoke and symphonic farewell, your Alfred. Dear Charlotte, I'm afraid that your Stasi file, well, for me, it's an exercise in frustration. I mean, I've been looking at it, and there's entries for another antique dealer, sometimes referred to as a Kunsthandler, other times Sammler. But I've noticed that whenever his actual name is mentioned in the report, it's blacked out. I've looked at the papers closely, I've held them up to the light. I still can't make it out. You have entries like, today the informant Park had tea with blank. Park received a birthday card from blank. 2:30 in the afternoon, Park, telephone, blank. Now, I'm sure that blank was important to you. Otherwise, why would you merit inclusion in your file? Please, shed light, if you can. I still have his birth certificate. Alfred Kirchner, born September 1st, 1911. Yeah? We met because it was a rainy day. I was walking through the streets of Berlin and I came across an antiquity shop, and, well, I didn't have money to buy anything. I just wanted to stay dry. And I was strolling through the aisles and looking at the sky. And I turned the corner, and there was Alfred. And he was playing a polyphone. Excuse me, do you own such a machine? Why, yes. I am a collector. I have been since my childhood. I'm a collector since my childhood, too. Oh, well, in my house, just 2 or 3 blocks from here, I have about 20,000 records. Touche. I only have 12,000. And where do you live? Master. A big farm, and near the paper factory. And with that, Alfred bought a few music boxes. Well, you must come visit me in Gulachtstrasse. I think that it's a long way back to Mausdorf from this maelstrom. Gulachtstrasse? Gulachtstrasse, you live there? Well, no. Well, do you remember the Gulacht? It's in my museum. Hello, Museum. Oh, and the view. Oh, now we meet in the flesh, huh? And so we went to Alfred's house. And he had cafe in his shrine, cooking, and he played a very large part of fun. And after a little while, he said, look in my private room. I did. It was full of records everywhere, whole shelves of them. There are Caruso records, and there are comedians, and jazz orchestras, and dance orchestras, and there were polophones, and pianolas, and gramophones, and phonographs, and Spieldosen, and jukeboxes, and epiphons, and there were Victrolas, and Electrolas, and hurdy-gurdies, and there were amberos and paperos. Well, there were also clocks, of course. He had mantel clocks, and regulators. He had done some by Landscape, and also Gustav Becker. And then he had the grandfather clocks. Oh, he had pocket watches and chronometers. And then he had this medieval breastplate. Whenever I would visit Alfred, there were the men. Well, see, everyone knew that he was homosexual. And sometimes I would come by, and there would be men standing outside his door like prostitutes, yeah? One day I came, hey, you'll have to wait by now. Yeah, Alfred, he's with one or two men already. You have to wait till he's done with his sexuality. Oh, no. Look, I'm only here to swap gramophone records. Oh! Well, you're the transvestite. And he cackled until Alfred came out to show me in. One day, Alfred, he bought an antique clock from a local dealer, and he was walking home. Langurachstrasse, and he noticed a motor car following him. And in this motor car, there were two soldiers from the American base. And one hero stopped the window and said, hey, can we buy that clock off you? You're not this one, it's mine. Oh, man, my mom says I can't come home until I've got a clock. Right, Dave? Yeah, so, I like one of those Black Forest jobs that sure looks sweet back in Terre Haute. Well, I have other clocks I can sell you. And so, the Americans, they drove down over to Alfred's place, where he showed them 9 or 10 clocks. Oh, wow, these are beautiful. Hey, what takes 2? And then, a couple of weeks later, Alfred came to me with a proposition. Look, you receive a lot of clocks as gifts, yes? And most of them, they're too new for your museum. They're all 20th century, which you can't use. So I was thinking, yes, but I have a friend in Edward. He has an automobile, yeah? We could go out to Banco, to the woods by Leipzig, and we could sell these clocks out to the trunk, yeah? We'll make a bundle. Well, we did, and the American soldiers came, and Alfred showed them. And I have, 9, 10, 11 clocks here? Wow! Oh, these are wonderful. Hey, we're going to take them up. Yeah, you could take them home for souvenirs. Take all of them. Oh, we don't have enough room in our car. Hey, how about we come back next week with a little bus? And they did. Hey, we're back! See, I told you, one of these guys wears a dress. They looked at the clocks, and then they loaded 1, 2, 3, 4 clocks into the back of the bus, and they prepared to go back to the base. Helfen Sie bitte! What the heck? They can't arrest us. We're Americans, man. Yeah, just a minute there. They think they want to fix our bus. Wir müssen diesen Autobus inspizieren. No, I'm not going to tell them no. You tell them no. Just get out of the bus. It's just a bunch of fucking political cops, man. They came the American soldiers in 6 or 7 hours. And they wrote down the number of their bus. And then the next time they came to make the sales, when they followed us with an automobile of their own in the Stasi, they were keeping track of these. So after a couple of months, Alfred had a knock at his door. We have reason to believe that you have been selling illicit goods to American servicemen. We hope for your sake we are gravely mistaken. Well, Alfred came back to me, and I thought for sure he learned his lesson and was changing his ways. Look, I've an idea, Alfred. No, listen. Why don't we take the clocks and sell them here in your basement? Oh, Alfred, I couldn't. No, listen. It is the most secret place in all of Berlin. Well, then at midnight, look, you must open up at once. We are in grave danger. Alfred, what is it? The Stasi, they came to my house. They raided my desk. They found Western currency. They are coming to see you next. Oh, no. What do I do? I'll bolt the door. No, look and listen. You must tell them that this is all my idea. The clocks, they're all mine. Oh, Alfred, I couldn't do that. You must. You see, there's no reason we should both go to jail. Listen, they will come in. They will traipse into your cellar, and they will take your vertigo and your cupboard and all your things down there in the bar. They will sell them all at auction, and you will have nothing left. Oh, baby, you're so dramatic. No, listen, Logan. You will be finished. And the Stasi came. Yes, I do have a colleague who sells sometimes to American soldiers. It's just a little extra money, it's all, you know. No, I can't give you his name. No, I will not give you his address. I will not write that down. No, you must not ask me to put pen to paper. I could see it. I whispered only. And they arrested Alfred. Dear Charlotte, I've been in jail for 1 week now. The Stasi, they found out I was homosexual, and they were afraid that I would be declared mental defective and exempt from a trial. So, in the institution here, Herr Dr. Kreinholz, my goddamn his soul forever! He told them I was perfectly sane! So they threw me to the dogs. You know that when they admit you to prison, they do a strip search, yeah? Well, in my case, they got a big surprise. My God! Alfred had a cock ring on his penis and nuts. And because he had such large private parts, they couldn't get it off. So they sent him to the hospital in the prison, and even they couldn't get it off. So they called a metal specialist, and he took a piece of metal and he slid it between Alfred's sex organs and the cock ring, and then he sawed it off. I told the doctor I'd had that band of steel for over 10 years. Parting such sweet sorrow. So I visited Alfred in jail. I had my red flowing skirt and my hair was long and blonde. Who are you and who are you visiting today? Well, I'm the wife of Dr. Kirchner.
My cellar is so cold. My knees, my rheumatism, it's like my knees are made of porcelain now.
But I brought you some warm clothes. What about Edward? Have you heard anything from him?
Or even Millie Malik.
No, they're afraid that the Stasi will investigate them too, and they want to keep to themselves. Well, at first, I was going to throw away all of Alfred's correspondence, his letters, because I was afraid the Stasi would raid my house and say,
Why are you corresponding with the criminal?
What? I changed my mind. Yes, you see this first one? It's all wrinkled. I was going to throw it away, but I rescued it from the wastebasket. Because I thought, one day, I will be able to tell the truth. That is now. Yeah. Oh, yes. This Easter card, Alfred, in his own hand, he wrote that. This is my last will and testament. In the case of my death, I give my entire collection, cylinders and records and everything in my possession. To Lord Mount Bergfelder, also known as Charlotte von Rostov. When Alfred was released from prison, I went to visit the nursing home in Weissensee, yeah, and I got a room for him there. And I said, well, Alfred, one day we'll be able to get your flat again, yeah? I don't know. I don't think I want to collect anything anymore. Yeah. The thing is, when Alfred was detained, his home was raided and vandalized. And the Stasi, they impounded everything that he owned, just like they did with the Jewish people, yeah? And all that he was left with was his pen. It was orphaned. And so, one night, the fortnight, he was the Krankenschwester on the line. You must come at once. Alfred died tonight. It's true. Alfred did leave me everything he owned. All in this little folder. See, here he had, there was an electric bill, one he couldn't afford to pay. Oh, here's a photo of Alfred with an old electro, a postage stamp! Woo! Yeah, from East Prussia. Alfred, he was much more intelligent than I, yeah? But in the end, all he had left, these scraps of paper. Oh, all right. Yeah, okay, that's one hell of a story. All right, so you got the midnight visit, you got Alfred willing to take the fall, and Charlotta is going to sing like a bird. I mean, come on, the whole thing, it reads like a Coldwell thriller by Armistead Maupin. I mean, come on. At this point, Charlotta had already been in with the Stasi for at least a year. You think Alfred knew that? And look at the reports here. Just listen to this. We asked the informant, Coleman Park, if he could gather evidence about the suspect Anthony Kirchner. He assured us that he had had Kirchner's absolute trust and could elicit information without arousing suspicion. For the past few months, Park has duly recounted conversations with Herr Kirchner directly to us. He has reported Herr Kirchner's illegal transactions with American soldiers. He has confirmed that Herr Kirchner was routinely offered Western currency in exchange for illicit goods. Customs officials officially arrested Alfred Kirchner in August of 1971. We have, of course, granted Park full immunity. He might even merit a promotion. John, come on. You can't go by what the Stasi files say. I mean, these guys, they have quotas to meet. They have superiors to impress. And look at this. One entry contradicts the next. Unfortunately, the informant Park is poorly suited for covert operations. He's too easily distracted by old furniture. His manner of dress is weakly bizarre. His penmanship is so slow and painstaking, it's full of frippery and curlicues that we are reduced to taking dictation. We have 48 months been working with him, and in this time of service, we have mounds of paperwork, numerous visits to the Grundzeit Museum, and this has yielded nothing in the 48 months. And so we have decided to end our association. I went back to Malsdorf, file in hand. Charlotte. Look, I know I'm an American from thousands of miles away, and I didn't even know what the Cold War was until it ended. So I'm not the person who should sit in judgment. But still, I have to ask. Alfred Kirchner, his arrest. I needed Alfred a sweater when he was in prison, yeah? Like these brass buttons, and these came from the coat of my grand-uncle, who served under the Kaiser himself. But no, hang on. The thing is, these hands, they have worked with brick and mortar. They have carved walnut. Alfred Kirchner, they learned how to knit. This is beautiful, yes? Should Charlotte von Malsdorf be required to return the Medal of Honor? That is a question on anyone's mind tonight in Germany, as news of her Stasi involvement continues to dominate the headlines. Conservative politician, Marcus Hall. Well, it's terrible, really. It's tragic. I mean, if anyone was harmed because of cooperation, well, it presents a situation, doesn't it? But we should say that it is a Medal of Honor, though not a badge of shame. Obra, university student, over in München. What, my friends and I, we think it's stupid. I mean, Charlotte, who cares what her Stasi involvement was? I mean, 1 out of 3 people during the war were working as informants for the Stasi, so we should just forget about it. I mean, finger pointing is pointless. It doesn't serve to unify, it just tears people apart. Social activist Joseph Rudiger. I was sent to the prison in Mausen, and they dislocated my shoulders. And then they stuck a catheter up my urethra and filled it with alcohol. I gave no one's name but my own. So I think in these cases we should have the ultimate criminal prosecution have you learned nothing from the last century? The President's Council has released tonight that the medal has only been revoked one time before, when the previous recipient revealed that he was an SS member. Museum, Möbel, men. Museum, furniture, men. This is the priorities in which I have organized my life. Yeah? Recently I purchased a clock for clockmaker in Copenhagen. Yeah? And on the train, on the way there was this man. He said to me, "Oh yeah, so starts, lady not so proud." And I thought, "Oh, yes." And I was wearing my red leather shorts. He said, "Oh, you have a nice backside. Nice for whipping." And I thought, "Oh, yes." But only a few doors down was waiting for me. Self-biography, and the people thereof, they treated me so nice. Well, yes, but what about your furniture? All those Grunderzeit goodies? Well, what are you going to do? Open a new museum? Yes. A friend of mine, she said, "You can't transplant an old tree." I said, "I'm not an old tree. I am a flower, and I bring my flower pot with me." Right now, settle down. A short time. Right. The Berliners see that made you a star, so how can you leave us? I'm afraid it's become too violent here. Oh, and not just on the television, am I right? Yeah. Well, but see, after I received the Bundesrepublik, the Weltkriegs, well, we had a party at my house for it, and we celebrated for all 100 people. And we were out there dancing under the paper lanterns and singing. And we had Donna Summer playing on the hi-fi. And suddenly, I heard my window, my basement window was smashed. Oh, that's terrible. Oh, yes, I heard about this. Your museum was vandalized. Yes, it was in the boarding post, yeah? Well, the neo-Nazis, they knew I was homosexual, yeah? And they came over the rock. There was about 30 of them, and they had gas pistols and flare guns. And they started to attack the museum, and all the gays, they ran away because they were panicking. But the lesbians, they stayed to fight, yeah? Sylvia, she went down to the cellar, and she was trying to close the door, and she got a gas pistol in the eye. It damaged her retina. And another girl from Obra, she got hit in the head with an iron stick, and it cracked her cranium. She almost died. And I was coming up from the cellar, and I had a pickaxe. And I met one of these fellows on the stairway, and he had a swastika on his arm, and he said, Hitler should have put you in the oven in the Sachsenhausen. And I said, oh, and then there was another behind me, and he said, oh, they should drown you on the Ostsee. And I swung the pickaxe, and I hit the banister, and it split like a sapling. And then I heard a loud one behind me, and he had a Schlaubolzer club. All at that moment, the bullets again, and they all spread, they disappeared like ash after a fire. And no one was arrested, no one to jail. Wow! Oh! No. So brutality, then. So brutality. I think, Charlie, he was lying on the ground, wires everywhere, broken bottles. Well, it's the youth today, isn't it? I mean, they are so disappointed in how things have gone, and now going through the reunification, they feel like they've been forgotten. Well, that's no excuse. Oh, no excuse for it. 9 heroes. You know, it's only childish women. They are being burned out of their homes. The refugees in Yugoslavia, these women, they are being beaten in the streets. Anti-Semitism has come back. The homophobia, still. Wow. Maybe I'll have to move to Ibiza maybe, or Mykonos. I like Charlotte. Sorry, but Ziggy has to ask. Is it true? Well, some people are saying that the rumors of your Stasi involvement, well, they think that you are leaving Germany just to avoid a tarnished reputation. Well, in Nassau, my museum has 23 rooms there. Well, in Paula Brunn, I have only 8. And so that's good for a woman my age. Not so much dusting. Fantastic answer, Charlotte. Fantastic. All right, well, you come visit us again, yeah? Dankeschön. All right. Well, we'll be right back with our next segment. And these messages, but in the meantime, think about who's coming up next. American singing sensation, David Hasselhoff. Excuse me, Mr. Nassau, I really can't join us. Is it true that your father, well, there are no court records about his murder? There's no evidence? No, excuse me, I'm trying to reach my car. My driver, he's waiting. Oh, yes, but I've not been able to find anything to substantiate your claims. Well, the records of the war, but they are gone. It's ash after the fire, yeah? Excuse me, Charlotte, Callahan, Munich. Is it true that you appraised furniture from Stasi? I remember 1945, and it was yesterday, but if you ask me what I had for breakfast, I don't know. Well, the thing is, according to the records we've obtained, you valued furnishings from the homes of dissidents, political prisoners of the wronged and oppressed. You, I don't know, extent, did the Stasi ever come to your door? You have, I have, and then tell me what you think. Charlatan, François Danier, Barry, is it true that the Stasi paid you with contraband? I took nothing, or not even an inkwell, maybe a cigarette box for your museum, eh? It's a mother taken off from child. Excuse me, Shelley Blacker, New York City. Is it true? Well, why do you suppose the public accepted your story with so little scrutiny? Please, I'm old, I'm tired. Zumi Yamaguchi, Tokyo, is it true that your family, they find you a public embarrassment? Is your own brother refused to cleanse? Mark Finley, San Francisco. In the gay community, we have our history destroyed constantly, our own past. So is it any wonder that we would embrace a martyr even if she's made of glass? Bernie Gupta, Bombay, is it true that you're really the woman after all? Mark Wembley, London, and I heard recently from the very man who gave you your medal that he says, and I quote, the moment Charlotte von Baustoff opens her mouth to yawn, she's become blind. When I was 14 years old, my mother, she was hanging laundry a lot, and garters and stockings and stuff. And she turned to me and she said, look, Dave, you're getting to be a man. I mean, it's all good and well to play dress up, but you're a man now. When are you going to marry? Listen, if you're not, ich bin meine eigene Frau. I'm my own wife. Dieter Jans, psychiatrist, born. Berlin's most notorious transvestite is neither Machiavelli nor a Cantor. No, she is mentally ill. She is suffering from autism. It's noticing the way that she recounts her stories. She has this constant conversation to communicate content, so to provide a rhythmic reassurance to the chaos in her psyche. This is true of autistic individuals. This is well, his storytelling is a palliative. Her stories are lies per se. No, it is self-dedication. All right, well, at the end of the day, what have I got? I have got a box full of scratchy audio tapes. I've got a worn copy of Die Transvestiten. And not to mention my German sucks. Well, I say you go with what's in black and white. I mean, you got the press reports, you got Stasi files. Yeah, but John, listen, don't you see? The thing is, I need to believe her stories as much as she does. I need to believe that somewhere a long time ago, a generous aunt gave her confused nephew a book and a blessing. And that this young boy, Volkart Bearfeld, he survived stormtroopers in his mother's coat. And that he survived amongst the two most oppressive regimes the world's ever known. The Nazis and then the communists. And he did it in a pair of heels. I'm curating her now, and I can't figure out what to keep and what to edit out. Take 9, March 5th, 1993. Charlotte, what do you do when a piece loses its luster? I mean, do you finish it and replace the veneer? How do you handle that? I don't finish. No, it's these pieces. The polish on them. Well, on here the polish is as old as the pieces, yeah? This furniture, it is over 100 years old. And you have nicks, and cuts, and stains, and broken spindles, and balustrade missing. Well, these are evidence of its existence, yeah? So this furniture, people they slept on it, yeah? They sat on it, they ate from it. I don't know what they did with this. The thing is, it was not just decoration. These things, they were used, yeah? I mean, it is an echo of living, of lives. Charlotte von Malsdorf did return, or did move to Sweden. And she was there about 7 years. I was going to give her back her pearls, but they don't want to walk with me. But she stayed there for 7 years and came back to Berlin for a reunion of sorts with her beloved Créditos museum. And why she was here, she had a heart attack. She died in a garden of gramophone horns. Hello. A few days after her funeral, we got an envelope in the mail, and I recognized the script. But there's no letter inside. It's a photograph. And it's Lothar Berefeld. He's a boy, about 10 years old, I guess. And he's wearing this blue sailor suit. His ears are sticking out at an angle. He's got the most adorable smile. He's at the Berlin Zoo, sitting on a bench, and he has his arms around two lions. I mean, they're cubs, yeah, but they're about as big as he is. And they don't look very pleased to be posing either. I mean, they could revolt at any minute. They could scratch, they could bite. He's got his arms around them. And they have their paws on his knees.
Page 4 with Charlotte von Malsdorf, February 2nd, 1993. I'm on the way to Malsdorf to meet with her now.
This is the first room of the museum, and this here is a little photograph, and on this record you see the picture of Thomas Alva Edison, and he was the inventor of the first talking machine of the world in July of 1877, and the record is made by the National Phonograph Company in Orange, New Jersey. Das